Hi, Filter again. I just got through looking at a few videos of people talking about the movie Wonder Woman. Now, for all intents and purposes, I understand that this movie is totally, totally great. It's well written, well scripted, well acted. Gal Gadot. In case you ever wonder how to pronounce her name, because think Bridget Bardot, but with a G. Anywho, Gal Gadot doing Princess Diana slash Wonder Woman is pretty good. Now, I liked her character in Batman v Superman. I thought, I mean, with her accent, it kind of added to the fact that she wasn't local. So I thought it was pretty damn good. But this tells me a lot. This tells me that as long as you write something with a story, a decent story, you could have a female centric superhero movie. You really honestly can. If they want to do a female centric movie in the comics, first of all, get rid of your Josh Whedons. Just get rid of him. He is not necessary for the whole concept. I mean, the worship of his vagina, that's his thing. But me personally, I think honestly, it should just be somebody who knows how to write a decent story. To give you an idea of how female centric stories have gone in science fiction, I want you to cast your mind back to a movie called, I can't believe I'm bringing this one up, Star Crash. I believe it had Carolyn Monroe and Marshall Gortner. I mean, it was a blatant Star Wars ripoff. But here was the funny thing: remove the bad special effects and some of the other little elements in it. The concept isn't all that bad. It really isn't that bad of a film. Uh, it's sort of like another movie I remember called Laser Blast, but I'll save that for another time. But again, you could have something. It just has to be executed well. For instance, look at the all-female reboot of Ghostbusters. Literally, that whole movie, that whole concept, instead of relying upon maybe the I think the original concept was the daughters and nieces, I believe, that were going to pick up the mantle. It could have been. It should have been that. It should have been like maybe the niece of Venkman or something like that. Is fascinated by stories of her uncle or dad or whatever, and she says, "Hey, this is wild. I wish we could do that." And then all of a sudden, you could have it where the guy who brings the spirits back have it where maybe he was fascinated also with the concept of ghosts in the afterlife. And in doing so, he opens up a door which grants him power, and he's just corrupted with power. That would have been a better idea instead of making him into some weirdo guy who can't get a date and decides to misogyny him because reasons, so he could get shot in the dick. You know, Leslie Jones's character completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. I would have at least cast. Oh, crummy. I would at least cast, I guess, uh, maybe somebody who had decent delivery. How about that chick who plays in that show Scandal? Maybe I know she could do some comedy, so I'm pretty sure she wouldn't mind doing that as maybe a woman who is just trying to figure out, what's going on. And yeah, like um, Ernie Hudson's character, hey, as long as there's a paycheck, I believe in anything. And and the whole backstory of, oh, you're the smartest person in here, but none of the men take you seriously. It could have, again, you don't need that. They could have said, well, you're the smartest guy here. They take you seriously. Why do you want to do this? That would have been a much more better concept and actually more believable. Why give up this prestigious job at a university to go all ghost hunting? I mean, seriously, when you ask that question, that would be the main question. Nobody's going to sit there and say, because you're a woman, and, we have Y chromosomes, so deal with it. Again, Female-centric characters, as long as they're written well, can definitely bring in the box office, and even on certain television shows too. A good example of how they can screw up a very good concept, and I'm going to ask you to think about the show Agent Carter. Agent Peggy Carter doing her thing, and I remember within the first five, I was looking forward to this too. I was looking forward to this, and and then within the first 5 minutes of this episode, she somehow, this agent who was there at the creation of Captain America, traded lead with the Nazis, has now been reduced to a Gal Friday. I shit you not. Watch the first episode, and what happens is, as they're getting ready to have this meeting pertaining to Howard Stark as to whether he's a traitor, giving secrets to Ivan in Russia, I don't know, something like that. Automatically, right before she even walks in the door, there's some oafish agent that says, "Yeah, Dolphins, give me a cup of coffee and some creams and sugars." And I'm like, the fuck, just what the hell? Now I'm no historian, but I can tell you, I used to hear stories about the spies after World War II, the female spies. They were treated quite well. They weren't treated and denigrated as Gal Fridays or secretaries. Just had to get that off my chest. The fact of the matter is, again, write something good. Have somebody not try to feed the idea that somehow or another every woman's facing patriarchy and misogyny every time she walks out the door. I mean, honestly, it's just so fucking annoying. And let me put it this way: it insults our intelligence, and to me, it denigrates and diminishes women's agency throughout the country, if not the world. When you start saying, "Well, this is how men are always going to treat you," bullshit. That's all I got to put on that one. So, again, I understand Wonder Woman is doing really well. I'm going to try and see it at some point before the end of this month. If not, I'll just have to wait till it comes out on HBO or something. But until then, um, I'm really honestly hoping that there are going to be some decent writers who are going to put together this female centric uh, superhero group. And not where they have to relegate it to just the Bechdel test. Where they're talking about how do they solve a problem. Okay, what are the repercussions if we don't solve said problem? We're talking that. We want action, yeah. And women, if you want to be action oriented, that's great. We could have that. We dig the fighting Barbie. But again, let's try to be a little bit more on the realistic side when it comes to this. Or when I mean realistic, I mean, let's not have it where every 5 minutes somebody's a misogynist for misogyny's sake. Okay, we get it. Men have Y chromosomes. We think a little bit differently than women and the whole niner, so deal with it. Well, until then, I'm Filter. Y'all take care now.